Afternoon, Sanusha. Basically, 50% of the salary that's going to be docked in the next payment cycle. She's been issued with a warning. She has 7 days to issue a public apology. This is not just anyone, a high-ranking official, the Health MEC in that province. Is this action enough?
It's nice to be back with you, Griselda. I was thinking, did this warrant enough in terms of a sanction, in terms of a tougher set of action that demonstrates that this is something that's taken seriously? I'm not sure. I really am not sure if it's enough. I think that at the minimalist, if I need to look at this, the docking of the MEC salary in the next cycle of 50% and that money being then donated to an NGO working and dealing with COVID-19 interventions and education and so forth, as the Premier had indicated, I think is just a starting point. I think there needs to be this idea that it's not enough to just have a financial punitive action. I think there needs to be some level in which, as he said, she is the individual that is essentially setting the scene for the fight against COVID, the regulations, the vaccination program, the encouragement of people to follow the non-pharmaceutical PPE regulations and so forth. And when you look at that image on the screen right now, maybe my maths is a bit off, but I can't see 1.5 social distancing happening. I see people crowded in that space at times. So I'm not sure how, if this is the only scene that is being picked out in terms of whether or not the 1.5 meters of social distancing was happening. But at the end of the day, I'm not sure whether this sends enough of a message to the general public to say that we've taken a tough stance against this.
Sanusha, is this a slap on the wrist, given that, we're talking about someone who the Premier himself describes, or the Premier describes the Health MEC as being at the chest of the war against COVID-19 in the province. He commended her for the statement that she released, in which she said she regretted not wearing a mask. He seems to have, he said he spoke to her, and basically she explained it was a well-ventilated venue in that statement. Is this just a slap on the wrist? What message does this send, given the fact that the Premier himself is acknowledging that this is someone at the core of the fight against COVID-19, who is supposed to adhere to the rules and regulations that have been set aside? If she does not, why should I?
Absolutely, Griselda. It's, in fact, I would say that it's not even a slap. It's a bit of a slight little tweak on the wrist to say, you did something wrong, this is what we're going to do. I don't think it sends the right message. I think what it says, as you rightly point out, is that at the end of the day, you, Griselda Lewis, can do the same thing. Sanusha Naidu can do the same thing and basically have no kind of set of responsibilities that in a way that we may have created an undue situation of people that could be carrying the virus. Even though you're vaccinated, you still know that you have to wear your mask. And so we could actually be responsible for this. But at the end of the day, when you look at what you're seeing now and you listen to the Premier, he says that she found herself in circumstances beyond her control. Well, I'd like to think that if I find myself in a party that is a surprise party for me, and if I see the situation as it is, I would turn and walk away and not stay. And hopefully that was something that was an option for the MEC to do, and something that she could have taken seriously. I'm not out here to say that the MEC's actions and showing remorse and saying that she's giving that statement and apologizing and saying that it was undue circumstances, etc., is wrong. I think she's acknowledged the situation and she's acknowledged the fact that this was an error on her part. But there were options here, and there's something called free will. You either stay or you don't stay. And in my book, when you're an MEC for health and you occupy that position, and it's the highest position in the province in order to deal with in the throes of a pandemic, you need to set an example of responsibility.
Political analyst Sanusha Naidu, thank you very much for that. Breaking news coming through at this hour, of course, after that video circulating on the Health MEC in Kwazulu-Natal, 50% of her salary being docked. She is to issue a public apology in 7 days, and she's been issued a warning by the by the KwaZulu-Natal Premier Sihle Zikalala. A short break.